I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Yes, thank you so much. I really appreciate you all joining and giving your input. Your input is very much important to us, and we hear each one of you very loud and clear. Yes, by the code's requirement, if you would have seen the earlier pictures that we had posted on the previous meeting, you will see that there is a sidewalk provision there that is going to be in the front of the walking area. And also, we're also going to follow the metro codes where they're going to dictate to us about the green space. And we're also going to take care of the stormwater. Right now, you have a lot of stormwater that runs through there because there is no detention pond. And if you our main focus is, instead of, yes, you're right, we're not trying to make a big warehouse for Amazon or somebody like that. Our goal is to have the people, our tenant base is related to service industry, it's related to manufacturing, and it's related to the retail industry. And this is the industry that's in the community, and that's the service. And if you look at the two videos that we have downloaded for this meeting, and if you click at some of the people were interested, and we had given them the addresses of the property of the other properties that we own also about 4 miles down the road. And we have put the pictures there, and we have also taken the videos to give you an idea what kind of properties we're putting out there. And you will see we put like a home atmosphere. There is a brick up there, brick facade, and our tenant base is not a mega Fortune 500 companies, but those are the companies that do business in your community every day. And that's the kind of businesses that we house. And besides beautification, it's also going to generate jobs in the area. It's also going to generate a tax base. And we are not catching any tax incentives from the metro government. We are investing our own private funds, and it's a legacy property for us, for our family and children. We are a family based business in Middle Tennessee, and I've been in this area since 1984. I personally own a concrete mixer truck company right now that I run out of Laverne, and I have been in this area since 1984. And if I may ask Michael Garrigan to shed some more information on the beautifications and on the pathways and on the stuff that we talked about.
Yes, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, my name's Michael Garrigan. I'm a civil engineer with Dell and Associates. As Bill stated, the property, it's about 10 acres, and I would say probably a little bit more, probably about 60% of it's going to be green space. And there'll be sidewalks along the frontage. Old Hickory Boulevard will be widened, curb gutter, grass strips, sidewalks with street trees, and in addition to that, we'll have a 15-foot landscape buffer behind the sidewalk to help soften the buildings. There'll be two entrances off of Old Hickory Boulevard for the tenant parking lots that will kind of sit up. And in the lower areas, there'll be the stormwater treatment areas, which will be rain gardens, bioretention, things like that, not just hole in the ground detention pond, but, shallower areas that are full of landscaping. If I had to guess, I'm not even going to guess how many trees we'll end up planting, but there will be a significant amount of tree canopy added to this property when the project is complete. And, as far as walking trails, there's a stream with a stream buffer that runs along the north property line. Um, I think we could definitely work in addition to the sidewalk, because the property's long and narrow, so there'll be, um, I can figure the length here real quick. Quite a long run of public sidewalk up on the road, but in addition, I think, we would certainly be open to putting in some sort of, maybe a softer, less formal, not a hard surface, but like a mulched walking trail along the back, just um, along the tree line of the creek that runs along the north property line. On the other side of the creek is the old, oh gosh, it's escaping me now. The old concert venue, Starwood. Um, but the sidewalk along the frontage would be,
And also, Michael, if I may add, according to the north part of the area where Michael is mentioning there, the property has very beautiful tree line, 60 to 70 feet high, that runs all along the back end of the north side. And I think we plan to pretty much keep that as a buffer.
Mhm. Yes, we would have to, yes.
Yeah. And
It
that would
would
be
be, the sidewalk
very,
along the frontage would be about a third of a mile. And the back side of the property's parallel with the front, so about another third of a mile walking trail along the creek buffer there. So if we tied them together into a loop, you probably have a close to a mile of nice little walking loop, let's just say. And to close, this is an area that through Nashville Next is slated for industry and commercial, and it is the industry that's there is the industrial that's there is just it's a complete eyesore. I think Bill's shown that his correct me if I'm wrong, Bill, is it 3 properties in the area that you own and maintain?
yeah,
Similar to this one.
yeah.
He takes care of them. The landscaping is beautiful. Uh, and this one, with it being a rezoning and, just being modern and current day regulations, will be even beefed up more than those are with the landscaping and the walking trails and stormwater protection, things of that nature.
I think somebody just asked a question, how would the walking trails be kept up? Uh, just so you all know that Metro has a full-time inspector that inspects those properties 3 times a year. And if we don't mow the yard, or we don't take care of the detention pond area, we don't take care of the stormwater area, we are called right away. And we have maintenance contracts in place with the landscaping companies. Their full-time job is to maintain the trees, the yard, and all that area in the back. So we are also being monitored by Metro stormwater people and by landscaping people. And we have to submit yearly reports to them what the area usage is and how we're maintaining. And they do without notice walk-in inspections, and we have to take care of that. So we not only monitor ourselves, but we also have Metro inspectors that monitor us as well.
Anybody else have any other questions, or anybody that was on the first meeting that had some questions about something to see if anything was changed or added? Please go ahead. I'm on my phone, so it's hard for me to see hands go up unless you are monitoring that, Mr. Bill.
I was just looking at some of these questions coming at the bottom here. Ms. Tawana, how are you? Welcome to the meeting. Thank you for joining us. Yes, you may be right. I do not know about the inspectors, how many Metro has or not, but I do know for sure that they monitor us very closely, and we also have to have an independent person outside who comes and inspect our properties and submit the reports. I don't submit the reports. It's done by an independent outside people.
Mr. Walia, I apologize for being late. I could not get the link to work and I had to keep futzing around with it. You said that you own a concrete business right now, concrete truck delivery. Why
No,
not? Okay.
no. What I
So,
own is not a concrete delivery business or a concrete business. What we own is, you see these concrete mixer trucks that pour concrete. We had a family business in Houston, Texas for 25 years, and we sold the business. So all I do is just do a buy sell. It's a one-man operation, small family-owned business that I have in Laverne for over 20 years now. And we are not in the active delivery of it, but we are actually in the sale process of the concrete mixer trucks.
The question was, why not just do a concrete trail that doesn't need maintenance rather than doing a mulch trail that won't be accessible by everyone and will wash into that stream when it floods back there? Because the flooding does happen. It gets across Old Hickory Boulevard. Thank you.
We'll let Michael Garrigan answer.
And that's possible. That's something we can work with the stormwater department on. I know they go back and forth with parks on their surfaces that they use for the official greenways because they don't like impervious surfaces that close to waterways. But there are other options.
Tawana, I saw Tawana join the call. I was asking earlier about the greenway, about the walkways that you said that you might be constructing. And I wondered if you had mentioned that there was a walkway in back of the property perhaps, and does that link into the greenway trails? Also, you mentioned about continuing water filtration. Just wondering if that how does that relate to the creek? I'd just like to hear more about that. And Tawana is very familiar, I think. So maybe you can fill in some of the questions that we've had on other meetings.
Okay, so the first question had to do with the walking trail. This is not on Metro Greenways mapped. It's not mapped for a greenway. It's not a. It's just a. It's less than 1 acre of what a blue line, a stream. So it has a 30-foot buffer on it. But most of the time, the greenways are along your named waterways, your Mill Creeks, your Cumberland Rivers, and that this is not a major waterway, but it would appear like a greenway, let me say. As far as Metro's new stormwater regulations, very stringent. They've made them even more difficult in last November, but they are focused on, as opposed to the old school holding water back and releasing it like a bathtub. They're focused more on infiltration and getting water back into the ground, recharging the aquifers, recharging the groundwater, and utilizing it with having the plants utilize it as opposed to, once again, allowing it to run off or holding it back and allowing it to run off at a lower rate. So with the new regulations focus on that infiltration, which helps with creek erosion, helps with flooding, many different benefits it provides when it comes to just stormwater management in general. And those would be implemented on this site.
And the last question, and I apologize because I have to hop off really soon. I really appreciate, Mr. Waller, you actually putting these things in your plan. One of the things that you mentioned was that you support other businesses within your warehouse. What exactly does that mean?
What I mean is that my other properties that are theirs, for example, there is a manufacturing company that's Pro Charging System. That is the only company in United States that makes the batteries that go in your golf carts and the emergency chargers. And if you needed a jump start to your car, they are the local business born and raised right here in Middle Tennessee. And then I have a retail business as a tenant, which is AT&T, which you guys, when you need a service in your home, phone, cable, they come out of that location. The other one is a service industry, AFS, which is also our third tenant in there, and they take care of the foundations and the cracks and in your bricks and stuff like that. So what I meant to say is that the properties that we develop is for the family-owned small businesses that work in the community every day. We're not making just a big, huge warehouse. We're not Amazons. We're just small business, every day-to-day business that people that work in your community that earn the livelihood there. And that's what they do. That's what I meant by those type of businesses. And I'm just looking at the board here, not to switch or change. I hope I answered your question, but somebody's asking me about the chemicals. what was that question about the chemicals, sir? Or who asked that question? I'm
It
sorry.
was me. Let me ask Billy. Can you please mute? You have some noise that keeps overtaking Mr. Walia's. Mr. Wally, the question is about your lawn maintenance company. You said there will be someone maintaining the area along the back. Will it be in writing that they will not use chemicals that will be harmful to the water that runs right into the creek and into the
Oh,
Stone River?
yes. When I say the lawn maintenance company, they're not going to be using any chemicals. They're going to make sure that they come and seed every year, cut the yard and cut the bushes and trim the trees and keep up with that stuff. That's what they're going to do.
And you also mentioned something about one of your businesses being something to do with batteries.
Yes.
Those aren't after they're constructed. I'm assuming that you have a mechanism for that, for batteries being disposed of off-site.
No, I'm sorry. They don't make the batteries. They make the battery chargers, the equipment that you charge your car battery with. If you need a jump start, if you need to charge your car battery, I'm talking about that stuff. No, there is no manufacturing of the batteries and the disposals of the automobile batteries over there. No, ma'am. Sorry about that.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
There's a question about the entrance. Which business across the street are you referring to? Do you know the address? Because there's a handful of them.
The big one, the one that is fairly new, that has a really nice entrance. The previous plans showed an offset entrance rather than making it where that it could maybe be a traffic light or a four-way stop or anything later on. So I apologize, I didn't see the plans earlier tonight. I just had a lot of trouble getting connected.
I think there's a light on Old Hickory Boulevard. I don't think there's a stop sign or light there. If you're talking about the entrances, I guess, Michael, they're talking about the new building, 12605 Old Hickory
Yeah,
Boulevard.
I
But
believe
that
that's the
does
one.
have a turning lane in there. And we probably will have a turning lane for our entrances to our businesses as well.
We would.
Will it
And
be
we
directly
do
across
not.
from them?
What was the question?
Will it be directly across from them? Like,
It
how is
w-
traffic going to be managed?
It would not. There's one coming in on the back side of that curve, and then one on the far side of the property. So they kind of straddle it. If we lined up with it, it would we'd have to separate our buildings more, and it would increase our footprint and reduce the green space, just from the way that their entrance falls. So it's better for the plan to straddle, have two offset instead of trying to have one in the middle. Did that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
But the improvements that they made, we would be tying into those.
And I believe I asked you last time about traffic on the weekends and at night, because eventually there may be residential or mixed use behind you. And of course, there's already residential across Hobson Pike from you. What's the plan for, you're gonna have some trucks in and out?
So I think if you're asking about that someday there might be the residential behind, I'm assuming that's going to be where the that concert places and there's a buffer creek there. So I do not envision any of those residential people coming through this property, and because they will not have any place to go there. I would assume that they would probably go on Murfreesboro Road and make a left on Old Hickory Boulevard.
No, it's
I
not
think
about
it was
that
more of a
kind
question of
traffic.
timing.
Noise. Will your place have 24-hour trucks?
No,
Will you
ma'am.
have-
No, ma'am. It's not going to be an Amazon warehouse where you're going to have trucks coming in and out every 24 hours. No, ma'am. Usually most of these, if you look at the if you look at the videos that I have uploaded on for this meeting, you see there is hardly any traffic on the weekends on Saturday, Sunday, because most of the businesses do not operate at that time. And like I had mentioned in my previous meeting, the truck traffic is usually going to be like 9 o'clock UPS guy making a delivery, and about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 3, 4 trucks come in and pick up the merchandise and go away. We do not have a continuous truck flow traffic all day in our businesses. No, ma'am.
You see the question in the chat about the organic fertilizer. Will all of these things that you have said be in writing?
Yeah, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't be able to put it in writing. Michael, do you?
Will you put it in writing before it goes to something that at planning or at council?
So
No.
if it's, these are, so the things that they're talking about, if it's gonna be connected to the warehouse and everything, then that would be, and I don't know if on warehouse you do a SP or what you call what you do, how that's put there, and before I sign on, if those are the agreements. And Matthew, who writes up things for us, make sure to help put it in a form where that can be attached to that. And so I think Mr. Bill is also making sure that he's taking all of the notes on this, so that those
Yeah.
type things, we can make sure to have written down.
Yeah, as long as this is within a reason, we have no reason not to put it in writing for us. We have nothing to hide. And I've invited you guys to go look at those properties at 1535 Hal Quaker. Go any time of the day, night, check out the traffic, check out how the properties are maintained. And these videos that I uploaded, the pictures I uploaded, they were actually done about within the last 30 days. And you can actually see how well they are kept and maintained. And you can see the traffic on the video on Sunday, what the traffic is on the Sunday afternoon.
What's the place on How Quaker? Is it the Yum Sum by chance?
I'm sorry, say that again.
What's your business on How Quaker? What's the name of it?
It's Pro Charging Systems,
Okay.
AT&T, and AFS.
Any other questions or comments from someone who maybe is coming in new or hasn't seen this yet, or knows the area and some specific things that you are looking for with what's coming?
No, thank you so much for the information, Mr. Walia.
Thank you
For
so much.
industrial, it sounds like it's going to be okay. But I do agree that with Ms. Lee's help, putting the questions that people are communicating and writing, I think that would be a good thing. And I have to excuse myself because I have another meeting, but thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate that. And if you think of something, please reach out and we'll be happy to answer it for you.
And thanks so much for being there, Ms. Hart.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Have
you,
a good
Hart.
afternoon.
The only other thing that I heard that I heard it shouldn't be a problem instead of hearing yes was the one about looking at the walkways as concrete instead of just having some soft what do you call those things that you put in your flower beds? And that makes sense. A strong wind or rain will wash them out. So that makes sense.
Yeah. Now we're talking about this walkway in front of the building. Now that one would be of the concrete because that will not be of that. Correct, Michael?
That's correct.
Yes.
I think Tawana's was also asking about the one back there near the creek. If I'm incorrect, let me know.
No, that was correct. That was correct as well.
Yes. And I also wanted to answer the other question about Mr. Vanas about the flooding in the Old Hickory Boulevard. Yes, I have seen that when it rains very hard. And actually, matter of fact, once we put the stormwater system in there, and you will have a designated flow for the water, And with the completion of the buildings, it'll have a designated path. And like Michael said, it will absorb the water and release it slowly. I think you will see a very good improvement in there on the flooding on that little portion of the Old Hickory Boulevard in the back end where it gets merged onto the bridge before
Well,
the.
I disagree, but not because of your side of the street. It's because it hangs in the snags on the other side. And I just put that in the chat. Maybe Councilwoman Lee can get somebody to reach out. But Amazon, I believe I'm correct in saying that little narrow strip is all Amazon's, and that stream bank needs to be cleaned out, not only of trash, but also of the honeysuckle. Because what happens is everything gets caught in those, and then everything backs up and pulls across Old Hickory Boulevard and onto your property.
Yes.
It's a
Well,
mess.
I can promise on my side of the property, I will take very good care of it. And you will not have any issues coming from this side.
Okay, Tawana, and I was saying before, I don't know if you were there, it's hard for me to see everything on my phone, but I had to blank out all of this to go look at the chat. But if you will send me what you just said, and then I will contact somebody over at Amazon to let them know that that needs cleaning up. Just send it to the Lee for D33 and copy Rosie on it. And I'll make sure that somebody talks to them about that one. Thank you. Well, if we don't have any other questions or any more specifics, looks like we may be getting off a little early. Those were some very good points. And I am going to, Mr. Bill, I usually work with Matthew Wilkerson here
Yes.
at the office, and he is the one that puts stuff in writing to make sure that all of that's incorporated in the bill. And Michael, I think you may know him.
Mhm.
So from your notes and things, if you all work with him to make sure that those things get in there so that I can see them and make sure that those are in there before we do anything else with that.
Okay. Well,
And
you
they'll be
said that-
listed on the SP drawings, but if we forget anything, it's not because we're trying to get away from it. If we forget anything, somebody just shoot us an email and we'll get it added in.
Okay.
Will you give us the contact information for Matthew Wilkerson? Shall we reach out to him then?
Yeah, it's Matthew.Wilkerson@nashville.gov. But you can get that from Roseanne too. I'm going to ask
Okay.
her to go ahead and email that to you.
Yes. And I want to also stress this thing too, that we are a small family-owned business and we will take very good care of the property, and we hear your concerns, and we are here to take care of you guys and work together as a teamwork. Because at the end of the day, it's going to beautify the property, it's going to generate the property taxes for you guys and jobs and for all of us, and it'll be very beneficial for all of us. And we are here for you guys. And if we can do anything for you guys, please reach out to us. 615-473-4340 is my number. And Miss Lee Antoinette and Miss Rosie also knows how to reach me. And we're really looking for a good partnership with our friendly neighbors and to improve the Nashville areas.
Mr. Walia, that reminds me of the only question you didn't answer. If you're wanting to do partnerships, what offsite improvements are you making that will benefit the community?
I would say turning lane, stormwater, and generating taxes. They're all part of your community improvements.
That's
I mean,
not
I'm
the
not a politician. I'm just speaking to you from the heart. That's to me is a huge, huge improvement for that area. That property will start generating revenue for you. And that money can be utilized to Miss Lee Antoinette, however the council chooses to use those. That's above my pay grade, and I don't think about those, but I'm speaking to you from my heart.
Well, those are not the kind of things that we're usually talking about, and we're not really talking about the stuff that the council member is able to ask you for. These
Sure.
are things the community is asking you for, like do you have a school in mind that you will adopt and provide some laptops for, or maybe a piece of some playground equipment, or there are various nonprofits in the area. Is there one that you will partner with and try to help out? When you say you're bringing tax revenue in, our experience has been that the tax revenue you bring in doesn't really pay for what it will cost Metro to maintain the area around that for the next 100 years. Like for instance, Council Lady Lee was able to get a traffic light put in at Hamilton Church and Mount View, but it's going to cost $1 million, and those nearby developments coming in won't really pay for all of that, nor will they pay for the maintenance from here on out. So we view the tax contribution that you're doing, that's something that you're just going to have to do anyway. It doesn't go that extra mile.
Okay.
What we're experiencing are that our schools are getting further behind, and community organizations don't have places to meet, and there's just all these things going on. So I'm not trying to name a specific thing, because different things make your heart sing, but
Yeah.
find something in the community that you can adopt and really do a true community partnership with.
Yes, you have my word and you have my commitment. I will personally say that you have got very good points. We do definitely need to improve our children. We can provide them with the laptops, and we can perhaps take care of them. And yes, I will definitely take a look at the community needs, and I will try to participate in it to the best of my ability. Yes, you have my commitment for that. Yes, I will do that.
And I think that was a very good idea, Tawana, especially reaching out maybe and adopting some of the schools, because it could be another thing that you do is open up your business to having some internships with some of the, what do you call it, CT students, or have them to come in to see the type of things that you do and that type of thing with their classes, and to have the classes visit and also get some maybe CT credit for that type of thing as well. So
That's a
those are
great
some
idea.
things to think about. That would be great to adopt one of the schools so folks can see what's going on, and not only what you do, but talk to them about starting their own businesses. So that's something good to think about. To build
I
into
would be
that.
happy to come out and talk to children and give them an education, give them a tour of my business, what it takes to run a business, maybe mentor some of the kids, give them my time. I would be happy to do that. Like I said, within my means and reason. Yes, I do community work and charity work for my Indian community as well. And I would be happy to participate with you guys as well. Definitely. If I'm going to be the part of the neighborhood, I have no problem doing that as well. I
That
would be
sounds
happy
like
to
a
do that.
really great way to build some bridges. And you've got Millridge Park is within throwing distance, and the Cane Ridge High School is right there, and then the middle schools. And that can be a two-way street where the Indian community,
Yes,
we can build bridges.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Those partnerships are fantastic for everyone. So thank you for
Absolutely.
considering that.
No, I would definitely. And I would say this, that if you go on Old Hickory Boulevard on I-40, on the other side, there's a huge Indian temple we've been building that since 1984. And it started from one room. And today we have over 400 kids that come to Sunday school, and we teach them. And then also those kids also go, when they're in the high school, they will go out there and they will devote their time to the children. Like somebody needs a math class, or somebody needs a help in English, somebody who needs some tutorial work. We have kids in our community that reach out to the American kids in the American community system and they go do all that kind of work. So yes, I can definitely try to talk to them and see what we can do for that. Absolutely. Great idea, Tawana.
And I would say the first step may be just going to and talking to the principals about the school in the schools in your area, just to talk to them about what you're open to doing and what you're looking to do.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, it is 6:47. Do I have any other comments or questions?
Thank you
Well,
for
I
your,
want to I'm sorry.
thank
Was
you
there
for
another
your
question?
indulgence.
Thank you all so very much for taking out time. I know there's been a lot of meetings, and I know it's summertime vacations and everything. So thank you for being on this. I do want to say, though, I'd like for you all to be diligent in being careful, because I don't know if you have heard, but excuse me, the COVID numbers are getting up a little more. And I think people have kind of let down their guard. So you may want to check. I think if some place has the booster shots, it's not a long line or anything, you can go get your shots. If not, still have I've got my sanitizer over there where I do my hands after. Of course, I shouldn't have my hands up here by my face, but where I do my hands. And when you're going into large crowds, I know especially since it's hot, it's uncomfortable, but you may still want to think about your mask. Until the numbers start going back down. Please be careful. This COVID was no joke. We are still having pieces of it affect our community and affecting our financial situations and jobs and everything. So I want you all to be very careful.
Thank you so much. Very well said, and very good advice. And I want to take personally everybody's time and thank everybody for the good input. And we're looking forward to work with you all.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, everybody.
Take care.
Have a wonderful night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.